Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some breaking news coming out here for you. So I have a story coming out from Ukraine that apparently, according to this video footage, it looks like we have some Atacms missile attacks on Russian soldiers in the Luhansk region. So apparently there was a Russian training area and I have no idea how to pronounce this, but I think it's Mosin-Yakivka in the Luhansk Oblast. And based on this footage, it looks like what we have reported coming out is that there's more than 100 Russian soldiers that are believed to have been killed in this strike. So I think these Atacms missiles were equipped with some sort of cluster munitions. At least that's what it looks like here. That's how this attack was able to be so widespread on this training grounds. So I think there was at least 4 Atacms that were used, and one of them may have been a dud, according to the information that we're going to go over here. So we're going to kind of dissect this video. It's like a six-minute video, roughly, and we'll kind of go through it a little bit in just a moment. But first, I want to go over this information here with you. This is pretty crazy news. This is on Newsweek. Over 100 Russian soldiers reported dead in Atacms strike on firing range. So this just came out yesterday. More than 100 Russian soldiers are believed to have been killed after footage appeared to show a training ground in Ukraine's eastern Luhansk region being targeted with U.S.-supplied long-range Army tactical missile systems, or Atacms. A volunteer with geo-confirmed an Ozint X, formerly Twitter, account that geolocates visual content from the Russia-Ukraine war first shared a video of the attack. The source said the footage showed a Ukrainian Atacms strike with 4 Atacms, including 1 dud, hitting a Russian training area in Mosin-Yakivka, Luhansk Oblast. Based on the footage, the losses will be significant. So yeah, when we go over the footage in just a moment, we will be able to see there is some movement of some troops. I'm assuming it's Russian troops, and they're clustered up in one area, and this area actually gets hit pretty significantly when these Atacms missiles go off. So again, we'll see that it looks like there's some sort of cluster munitions that were used or attached to these. The U.S. recently secretly sent Ukraine long-range Atacms capable of hitting targets as far away as 300 kilometers or 186 miles. Newsweek couldn't independently verify when or where the footage was filmed and has contacted Russia's defense ministry for comment by email. The Kremlin hasn't commented on the reported attack. Open source intelligence X account Ozin Technical said the clip showed Ukrainian forces conducting a strike on a Russian training ground with a trio of U.S.-supplied M39 Atacms tactical ballistic missiles. So here's the post from Ozin T Technical. At least 1 Atacms directly hit a cluster of soldiers. So we'll see in the video. Yeah, you can definitely see there's soldiers here because some of them start moving. I saw when I watched it. And they were kind of near a waterway. There's like a little river, I think, over here to the right where they were all hanging out at. And this cluster munition, at least one of them, strikes basically right over this section here where all these troops are at. So we may have dozens of casualties here. We'll have to see. So at least 1 Atacms directly hit a group of over 100 soldiers, showering them with hundreds of M74 APAM bomblets, the account said. Sharing a still image of a cluster of soldiers gathered in the area before the strikes, the Institute for the Study of War, an independent U.S.-based think tank, highlighted the footage in its latest analysis of the conflict in Ukraine on Wednesday. The Institute for Study of War said Kiev recently struck a Russian military training ground about 80 kilometers or 50 miles behind the front line in the rear of Luhansk. So here's the video. We'll go over this in just a moment, but it's from JB Snyder. Seems like Ukraine did another Atacms strike near Kuban, Luhansk. Action starts at 3:50, a dud and 3 hits within a minute. So it goes on to say here, geolocated footage published on May 1st indicates that Ukrainian forces struck a Russian training ground southwest of Mosin-Yakivka, likely with 4 Atacms, and reportedly killed 116 Russian personnel, the ISW said. Kiev's military said in an update on Thursday that Moscow's forces lost 1,030 soldiers over the past 24 hours, bringing the total to 470,870. if those figures are correct, that's pretty massive losses on Russia's side. Obviously, we'll never know if these numbers are actually correct, but according to this, 470,870 so far. The figures were provided by the General Staff of Ukraine's Armed Forces, which posts estimates of Russia's troop and equipment losses daily. Newsweek couldn't independently verify Ukraine's figures. Estimates of casualty numbers vary, with Ukraine's figures usually exceeding those of its Western allies. Moscow rarely shares information on the number of casualties it has sustained in the war. In September 2022, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said 5,937 troops had been killed since the war began. So if you see here, they say 5,000 according to Russian Defense Minister. This was back in September, right? That they were at like 5,000. So I think it was like early this year or late last year, we had the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, come out and say they only had 34,000 that were killed, which I think is crazy. And that number could be much higher. It could be in the hundreds of thousands for all we know, especially if they're claiming that 470,000 died here on the Russian side. It doesn't make any sense that Ukraine would only report 34. I mean, especially if the Russians have been gaining some ground. But then again, we've also heard a lot of information coming out from like the State Department, Department of Defense, stating that Russia's been losing lots of troops, lots of casualties just to gain minimal ground. They've said that many times, but again, we'll never really know the true numbers. So Kiev similarly doesn't disclose its war casualties. A U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency assessment leaked in April 2023 said that Ukraine had suffered 124,500 to 131,000 casualties, including 15,500 to 17,500 dead. So yeah, here, even smaller numbers it looks like, but yeah, I don't know. Very strange here, the numbers that we're seeing, but those are the reported numbers. So now we'll go over this video here and kind of just dissect this a little bit, and we'll see what we can see from the footage. We're not going to watch the entire thing because it's like a 6.5 minute video and there's absolutely no sound, but we'll kind of just take a look at this together and see what we see. And you guys can tell me what you see in the comments if you notice anything that I might miss. So let's take a look at this. Let's go ahead and hit play and see what we got here. Give it a chance to load. All right, so let's see. I think we got it to load here. Okay, so we'll kind of just skim through this. So this video camera footage, I don't know if this is coming from a drone or where this is coming from, probably a drone. So they kind of zoom out here and there's a section, it's kind of choppy as it moves along, but here we go right here. They get a good look right here and you can see, I don't know, a good 50 to 70 soldiers just right here in this area. Okay, so we'll kind of skim along some more. And this area is right here. If you can see, next to this waterway, there's like a river that runs right here. And this patch of brown down here is where these soldiers are at, okay, whenever these Atacms start hitting. So let's go and zoom forward a little bit because it starts at 350 when the explosions start going off. So they're kind of just watching, observing. And then as we get closer to 350, we'll start to see the bombs drop. So let's take a look at this. Bear with me. So I think it's right here where those soldiers were at before. Boom, there's the first explosion right there. So I don't know if that was a dud or what that was, or maybe that was the missile coming in after it had launched the bomblets. But then we'll start to see them scatter right there. There it is. Okay, it's kind of freezing up a little bit, but look at how widespread that is. Okay, and right here in this area where I'm hovering is where those troops were at, and they pretty much were in the line of fire of those bomblets when they were falling. We'll get some closer footage here in just a second. So we're going to be seeing more drops here. I think some more drop over here in these areas and down here. We'll kind of speed up a little bit. See if we can catch those next drops. Okay, so we can see this one for sure. And then I know there's one that spreads up here in this area. They're kind of zooming in a little bit to see the damage. So you can see some people moving down here. Look, there's some troops right there running. These look like military vehicles, maybe some sort of logistics trucks or something. But there's definitely some people running over here. You can see them. The footage is very choppy. It's cutting out a lot, but you can definitely see people moving right there. They start to zoom in where all these troops were hanging out at. So we'll kind of speed up just a little bit more. And here's another blast over there. There's that. This is the one that's more northern, like on above that last attack down here at the bottom. So again, it is very choppy, but we are able to see some of the attacks here. Let's see if we can get one zoomed out. Here's another one here. Here's another attack in a separate region. So we got 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 attacks at this point. See if it kind of zooms out. It'll start to zoom in here again. Yeah, pretty nuts. Okay, so there we go. They zoomed out a little bit. So definitely 1, 2, 3 strikes at least. So this is that one we were originally looking at in the beginning, where that patch of brown was at, where there was a good at least maybe 50 or more troops in that area right there. Then there was another attack over here. I wasn't able to see if there was anybody in this section here or over there, but I would assume that Ukraine had some sort of intelligence that there was some sort of targets they were going after whenever they launched these attacks. So yeah, again, at least three Atacms missile strikes here in these areas. And you know what, to be honest with you as well, that's going to be it for the footage. I had no idea that Ukraine had some sort of like cluster style munitions with these Atacms. I thought they were mainly just ballistic missiles, but again, you know, they can probably retrofit them with whatever types of explosives or deployment devices, whatever they want to put on them. To considering that it's a ballistic missile, because obviously ballistic missiles, you can even attach a nuclear warhead to them if you really wanted to on certain ones. So yeah, pretty crazy. Just wanted you guys to see some of this footage here. And again, yeah, according to this, we've got a Atacms missile attack on some Russian troops here in the Luhansk region. So pretty crazy. I just wanted you to see that footage and get this out there to you. But that's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this update, please smash that like button. And also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.